Greetings guys, this is Blade back in with another little guide thing, and today we're going to do this destroyer. This is like a triple rep destroyer with a medium ANSI, small ANSI, and a really nice hull buffer. I wasn't the creator of this fit. I got this recommended by Lieutenant Lunar Laser in one of my Twitch streams. So I'm not going to take the credit for this creation, but my goodness, is it a wonderful ship to PvP in. I've been having really good success against other destroyers and stuff, like frigate gangs and stuff. The Algos is actually pretty much a beast. I didn't really used to be too keen on the Algos, but this fit's fun. It's really easy to fly, 'cause most things are just going to ram, and your drones are basically going to apply fully. And yeah, basically the win condition for most destroyers against this particular Algos is basically keeping out the range of your guns, right? So that's something you take into consideration. If they pull range from you, get out of your gun DPS, that's like half your DPS gone. You're only doing about like less than almost 200 DPS to 200 DPS with your drones, which is very rough for destroyers. So that's really what you want to try and avoid. It's hard to do so just with the MWD scram, but just keep in mind that's kind of how you're going to lose these engagements. AB web scram stuff will pull range from you. This is more of a concern with other destroyers. Frigates and stuff you should still be able to do okay with just your drone DPS, as like 180 DPS with light drones. It's pretty rough for a T1 frigate. Or a faction frigate or so. So yeah, I am using some added little implants here, totally not necessary. I believe this was a pod I was using for my Thrasher, but I just decided to use it with the Algos because it goes quite well with it. We're using a 3% to turret fall off, a 3% to projectile damage, rate of fire for guns, 3% armor, and a hull rig. If you're going to use any implants whatsoever, I do recommend that 3% hull rig. It's super implant, sorry, because it's super cheap, and basically a lot of your times in this Algos is going to be in hull. We're also using standard exile and an agency hardshell dose 2. The reason you want to use a hardshell in this fit is it's applying to both your shield reps and your small ANSI. You could maybe use a power ANSI if you wished for a little bit extra damage, but I don't recommend an overclocker, as the speed won't really do you too much. So yeah, that's pretty much covered this fit. Oh, also drone selection is a fair... Like, I thought 2 medium drones were the way to go with this, and you'll see that most of the fights I'll be using 2 medium drones and 3 lights against most destroyers, but the more I've flown this, there's actually a little bit of inconsistency with the 2 medium drones without web. You'll see that sometimes they miss even, like, destroyers and stuff. I would use, say... Now I've basically switched to 2 sets of 5 lights and 1 medium. I'll use that medium against stuff that I think might be shield tank, like destroyer with a high sig. Particularly, like, say, like Thrashers or Coraxes shouldn't have too much of a problem applying, but I've noticed against, say, like Algoses and other things, they've actually missed. And inconsistencies made me lose fights and made me close to losing, so I figured sticking with 5 lights is actually kind of the way to go against most destroyers now. But most of the fights you're going to see, I'm going to be using 2 mediums against destroyers, and you'll sort of see the kind of inconsistency. So that's pretty much me covered all this. Yeah, enjoy the incoming fights, guys, and yeah. Okay, the Catalyst is going to be a really hard matchup for the Algos, in particular if you're warping into them, especially if they have some form of being able to range control you, and it's very easy to range control this Algos. He's actually AP web, and I'm able to pull around sorta. I don't get out to as far as what I'd like. I wanted to get to like 6k, get out of his void and antimatter range, where my drones are still doing DPS and my guns are also still sort of far fall off, so I'm still applying. So you'll notice this is incredibly close. We nearly go down. It's down to the wire, and we do end up taking it. So GF to that, gentlemen. Coercer, another really hard one for the Algos. I'd consider those two to be the 2 hardest fights for your Algos. It's probably going to be a Coercer. And, yeah, the Catalyst I just fought, those are going to be really hard fights for you. And the Algos 1v1 is going to be quite hard for you too. So I ram this dude. I believe I have Hail loaded. I run Hail on. The Algos, this guy's a shield coercer, and I'm seeing a lot more of these being more common. They're quite a nice little fit. I could maybe align out here since I see that there's no scram or web, but I want to say commit. He's getting quite low. I'm quite low. And the only reason we win this is because he burns out his guns. You'll notice there's a lapse in DPS. We're able to kill him. Had he not burned out his guns, I think we'd have lost that. So just bear in mind, the 1v1 against Coercer is going to be pretty rough for you. Here I have a fight against two different Thrashers. Unfortunately, I didn't get an Arty Thrasher to fight. But, yeah, so basically I ram this Thrasher. This is a shield variant, right? Autos, little shield extender, lovely little fit. I ram him. I have EM load in the guns. I always go with EM when fighting Thrashers. Now, Thermal might be the right call. So Thermal or EM going against Thrashers, I'd recommend. EM, I usually do, because most shield Thrashers, I don't plug the EM hole. Some people might do, but I feel like 2 field extenders and like a T2 like damage mod in the rigs is what most people do and what I do. So you notice that was a very close fight. He's got us into low hull. Another little thing to consider, see, once you're scrammed, is to turn off your MWD just in Seraph cap so you can get some more small ANSI charges off. I don't do this enough. I do it in certain instances, but I'm always worried I might need that MWD for whatever reason, but I never do end up needing. So it's a weird hybrid Thrasher. I believe he had a medium shield extender and a little bit of armor buffer. Very interesting little fit. But this one doesn't fare as well as the shield Thrasher, which has a lot of DPS and can just like DPS is down. This Algos has got an ungodly amount of tank, and we're able to beat Frank. So GF Frank, thank you for those 1v1s. Okay, here we have a fight against Fed Navy Comet. Now, I wouldn't normally include this because a bit of a, destroyers are naturally good at killing frigates, so it usually isn't too interesting a fight just seeing like a destroyer versus a frigate. But it's an incredibly close fight, and actually don't sleep on Fed Navy Comets. They are insane. It's actually going to be quite a hard fight for your Algos. There's a very good potential that a Comet can potentially kill this Algos, so just keep that in mind. And another few things that I hadn't mentioned before, try and get your small ANSI charges off before you use your medium ANSI. This way that you basically want to use all the charges in your small ANSI and then use a medium ANSI to cover the uncharged small ANSI, right? So basically if you use your medium ANSI first and then you're on your small ANSI, once they get you through your charges, they're basically just going to start like plinking through your armor, right? And you won't get as much small ANSI charges unloaded off. But if you're able to use your medium ANSI whilst your small ANSI is unloaded, you'll be able to get a bunch more cycles off your unloaded small ANSI. Hope that makes sense. But it's a really close fight against a worm. Worms are insane, man. Even though they're a frigate against a destroyer, always expect a hard one for against a worm. This dude makes a real big mistake in this fight. He doesn't pull range from our autocannons and allows me to DPS him, which is perfect. Another little thing, do not use medium drones against these frigates. Whatever you do, even with a web, medium drones don't do too well against a frigate. Always use your 5 lights. This is one of the fits I have started to use the 2 light sets and then the 1 hammerhead, which is probably the way to go, boys. I would recommend. So you'll notice how close this is. I've got the small ANSI on the go unloaded, then I've got the medium ANSI. That's really how you're supposed to do it. So GF chip there, that's a great 1v1. Okay, you can also take Kikis in this fit. This guy's a 10-min Kiki, I'd be in a very bad spot, but I was really hoping it's going to be the shield extender MWD long point variant. That's very common. He is. He nearly escapes our scram range, but we catch him, and it's basically, I feel like I've got this at this point. I've got a lot of tank here, I've got a lot of TPS, we're right on top of him. He's probably dead here. So do not warp into Kikis, that's always a bad thing, but if they're on the outside you're small, it's worth a bash. If you kill a Kiki, you get good loot drop usually, and yeah, but if it's a 10-min or like a weird armor brawly one, you're probably in a bad spot. But if it's that shield variant, you're good. So this is a Algos 1v1, and this is the first fight that opened up my eyes to not using 2 medium drones, because this was incredibly close, and it wasn't as close, it shouldn't be as close as what it was. So this dude, I believe, is only using 2 T1 hull rigs and a CPU rig. And I'm using 2 mediums and 3 warriors. This guy is using 5 hobgoblins. Just keep an eye on the damage modifications, and you'll see that a lot of these like volleys, a hammerhead will miss out. So that's basically what turned me off using hammerheads, despite this being so close. I ran him with hail this time, but this is pretty much a mirror. He's using a small ANSI, medium ANSI fit with the T1 hull rig. So I was very surprised to see how close this was. Nevertheless, GF there, Doctor. Okay, this is a quality little fight against a frigate gang. They have a Tormentor and Persistent Rifter. The Tormentor comes in first. I make quite a few mistakes in this fit. I didn't mean to have those 2 hammerheads. I actually thought they were hobgoblins, so you'll see that they don't apply as well as what I'd hope. And I actually have Barrage loaded. For whatever reason, I thought these guys were actually going to pull range from me. Keep out of range of my guns, but in hindsight, the Persistent Rifter sort of run a brawl. The only thing that really sort of would scram kite me is a Tormentor. So that's another big bad from my point. So I should have really had like faction fusion loaded and noticed that those two hammerheads out. So it's a good little, you know, show that don't use hammerheads or medium drones against frigates. Go see how bad these guys actually apply. And these guys are actually orbiting me pretty close, I believe. And Barrage with his tracking penalties having a real hard time tracking these guys. So this is quite a hard fight actually. Hard and what it should be, just me being bad. You'll notice I'm using my small ANSI at the moment, not touching my medium ANSI just yet. Not so much bait tanking at this point, but it is sort of acting that way, keep them enticed. But yeah, just trying to get most of the charges out of my small ANSI. I turned off the MWD so I can serve cap, get more small ANSI charges on the go. I don't feel like I'm going to be using my MWD in this fight anymore. The newest out of people here was that in Curses, and thankfully he was using T1 guns. Had he been using T2 guns and Void, we'd have probably lost this. Now I've got my medium ANSI on the go. I'm pretty certain I've got this. I do end up burning with my guns, like a bad, but yeah, I'm fairly confident I can get this win. So GF to that frigate gang, that was a beautiful little fight, and yeah, it's pretty down to the wire there. Okay, here we have two fights against two different Dragoons. This is a really kitey Dragoon, which doesn't actually have newts, so it's a very peculiar fit, but it ends up in a really close fight. He's long point web, and I think it's either actually an AB fit, which is very curious. So I ram him. I've got phase loaded here. That's a bad shout on my part, actually. I didn't notice I had phased here. Hail or Fusion. I probably would have went a Fusion, because I actually expect most Dragoons to scram kite me in some way. So most Dragoons you see your AB Scram or AB Web Scram. I usually see AB Scram like Cat Injector. It's quite common, but AB Web Scram is also quite common too. And even if it was MWD Web Scram, it could probably pull range from us. So I'm expecting it to pull range from us, and it does. And that's really bad for us, because if stuff gets out of range of our guns, that's like half our DPS gone. That's basically how we lose these engagements. But because he's on point web, we can turn on our MWD and get back into range, although it is really hard in my cap here. And yeah, I'm going to run out of cap soon and not get a small ANSI go. But we won that. Very close fight. This is a new Dragoon. And every fight I've had against a Dragoon has been really close. I haven't actually lost to a Dragoon yet. But do expect them to be incredibly close. The Newton Dragoons, try and get the most out of your cap. Whilst you have it, get your small ANSI on the go. But do expect to be capped out pretty quick, right? Turn off your MWD once you're scrammed, you know, all this. This gentleman, you notice he's actually pulling range at one point, but then he comes back into range. If he kept on pulling range, keep himself at 7.5k or something, he would have won this. So this is really close, but since he comes back into my autocannon range, it's like GG, you know? That's like I keep on saying, have our DPS. Don't come back into range of this Algos. That's the win condition fighting most Algos is just to keep out your gun range. That's all the fights I got for you guys, but these last couple clips are just to highlight a weakness of the Algos, and that's kiting stuff. You might think that your drones are able to keep up with these like kitey things. Warriors and Acolytes can, kind of, but I wouldn't really recommend doing so. You notice I'm trying to like push off that condor and stuff. I do end up burning my MWD, had I not done so. I meant being able to escape. But don't intentionally go after kiting frigates, as you'll probably have a bad time here. You see this hook bill warps into me, pulls range before I can catch him, and then just like kites me. You'll notice my drones have a really hard time keeping up with him. I should have maybe took those hobgoblins are a really bad one for it. If you want to like try to project out to kiters, you want to use warriors or acolytes, but I don't recommend it. Kiting destroyers a thing, but frigates are probably going to give you a really bad time. So try and escape if you gave a long point or what, whilst keeping your drone DPS on them. But I don't recommend like just going to try and fight kitey frigates. And that's all the fights I got for you guys. It's unfortunate I didn't get many AF 1v1s, but assault frigates versus T1 destroyers are really hard fights now just because of the assault damage control. If you were to fight assault frigates, ones I would probably recommend you having a chance of actually being able to beat, be a wolf. Enu would be a hard fight, but I'd probably take that. Ishkar, and maybe Harpy. But things like Jags, Vengeances, Hawks are a no-go, man, because those things can tank like 5 destroyers, man. They're crazy. So, yeah, it's fortunate I didn't get any assault 1v1s. But another thing about the small ANSI, medium ANSI thing, you do want to try and conserve do your small anti first and then medium anti. But this is difficult, especially against like destroyer 1v1s. You probably just want to get them both running. It's very hard to do it conservatively. You'll notice in that Catalyst 1v1, you need to just like run both of them at once. So amount of income DPS is insane against most destroyer 1v1s. So like against like say like Coercers, just like high DPS things, you probably want to get them both on the go as opposed to trying to do it conservatively like that, which you can do in say like lower DPS destroyers like Dragons or other things, low DPS things like frigates and stuff. So yes, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe, I don't know, inspired you to fly some Algos. Yes, I will leave you guys be. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys. Thank you for watching my video.